everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building, Nia Franklin.
Good morning.
Miss America 2019 or 2018 through 2019. That's how it works.
2019 is the official title, but we're getting an early start.
Well, congratulations.
Now you claim Miss New York, right?
That's
but people
what I
say
want.
you're really from North Carolina.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
People say she really is from.
I am.
I saw people upset about that. I'm like, wow, what's the outrage? Why?
So I moved here about a year and a half ago for a fellowship at Lincoln Center Education, but I'm originally from North Carolina, and I competed there for 2 years before winning Miss New York.
Gotcha.
Try.
And the rule is you just have to live wherever for 6 months.
Live or work for 6 months, or go to school.
And that's how you can be Miss New York.
So which one do you
But
claim?
I could have competed in North Carolina too. But what do you mean? Who do I
You claim New York or North Carolina? Which one?
I can't claim both.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, I claim both. I mean, They both offer me very different things. North Carolina is home, so I grew up, went to school there, and all that jazz. But New York is, I'm a composer and songwriter, so this is essentially why I moved to New York, to be in the industry and to be an artist and promote my music.
Mm-hmm.
So you also performed some of your music too during the competition.
I didn't. I did opera actually for the competition.
So it wasn't anything that you wrote.
No, it was something from Puccini from the 1900s that I sang. Yeah.
How did you get into opera?
So I wanted to study music composition, and to do that at the school I went to, East Carolina University, you actually DJ'd a party that I went to there.
How old were you then?
Like probably 21. 22.
How old were you then?
Was the party popping?
It was popping. Yeah, it was. I think it was like a home.
Matters. It was popping.
And you had the young kids going?
Yeah, I think it was a homecoming. So to study music there, I had to have an instrument. And I play piano by ear and everything, but I didn't want that to be my main instrument. So I decided to study classical voice because I've sang my whole life. I mean, I grew up singing in church and stuff. So I was like, let me just try to sing opera. It can't be that hard, right? Ooh. And so I started taking lessons, and that's how I got into it.
That's amazing.
And just put it out there. That was only like 2 years.
Yeah, it was like
20. You made it seem like a long
2015.
time ago.
Do you think that winning? Do you think that winning Miss America is helping you with your music career?
Actually, I do. I've had a lot more, I would say, people interested in not only my story, but my art, and just like more of a following and everything like that. And so that's definitely helped. But I think what's going to be most important is just actually having the credentials to back it up, I think.
Now, it's interesting how you even got into pageants in the first place. Explain that to us.
So I never considered myself a pageant girl, or I really didn't even think I had the look growing up, especially growing up in North Carolina, where I was a minority a lot growing up in schools, and I would feel out of place. But when I got into college, my confidence kind of grew and blossomed. And I was actually in need of extra funds for school when I was getting my master's degree. My father was kind of the breadwinner growing up, but he was diagnosed with cancer when I was a freshman in college. And so by the time I got to my master's, some of the scholarships I had were running out. And so I was looking for an alternative way to get some money to fund my education. And Miss America is the largest provider of scholarships to young women, and so I decided to just give it a try, even though I never considered myself a pageant girl. I just wanted to try it, and it ended up working out in my favor.
Where did you get the information from being in a pageant? Like, was it at the mall? Was it you read about it? Because you see everybody in the mall, but like, hey, join this pageant. So where did you hear it and get the information from?
So my direct kind of connection to it was going to school at ECU. There were a lot of girls there that were in the music department that were singers, and they were either competing in the Miss North Carolina system, or they had actually won the title of Miss North Carolina. There were actually two music students that were previous Miss North Carolinas. And so I kind of reached out to them, and they encouraged me, and that's what kind of made me decide to just go for it.
What are the benefits that come with being Miss America?
Her scholarship?
$50,000 scholarship. And also you get a salary, you get exposure of traveling the country. And this year, it's really different, the direction that Miss America is taking. I have done things that I could not have dreamed of doing, even before I decided to compete.
Like what?
Being on the Breakfast Club. I'm the first Miss America on here. And also
That's 'cause
going...
you're black.
Well, yeah.
And representing Brooklyn.
So if Miss America is white next year, you won't have her on?
I wouldn't even know who she was if she was white, to be honest with you. We've seen a bunch of those, if I'm being honest.
Well, yeah, I will say...
It was like Miss America doesn't come on the show.
I'd be like, okay.
Well,
she's black. Bring her on.
Well, I will say that in representation is important.
Yes.
So I know I have a responsibility this year, and I do want to make sure I'm reaching out to young girls that felt like me when I was feeling like nobody likes me. I look this way and I don't have friends in school, I want those girls to see me and feel like they have someone they can look up to. So that's part of what I'm looking forward to, and that's one of the benefits to being Miss America this year. But they're really embracing me this year more so than I think they have ever embraced other young women before with what I want to do. They know I'm a musician and they want to support that. And so I've already been doing events that are directly connected to music. And so that's given me direct exposure in my field.
I think that's important too, because, you know, growing up watching Miss America or seeing Miss America whenever they had it, or, you know, it was always people that never looked like me.
I know one other Miss America.
Well, no,
Yeah, of
Miss
course.
America looks like
Vanessa
you and
Williams.
Vanessa
Vanessa
Williams.
And you know why I know her?
Because she was Miss New York?
Because she's black.
Because she's black.
But that's
Okay.
the thing. So for having daughters,
Every
and I
time you
know
never seen a
Char-
Miss America that looks like him.
meaning color
There,
wise.
but I'm the
You
seventh.
didn't say that.
The
You
meaning
said
color
that?
wise. Meaning color wise.
You didn't say that.
Meaning color wise. You
We
assholes.
need to break those barriers.
My God, Envy.
Miss America that looks like Envy.
Let him live.
No, I'm glad that we've never had a Miss America that looks like you. All right, diversity matters, but not that much. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Meaning
Envy.
color wise. So the fact that I have 3 young girls is good that they can see something like that. How many girls do you have, Charlamagne?
3.
Okay. Would you like your daughter to see a Miss America?
No, I
that's
don't want them to see a
African-American?
Miss America that looks like me. No, I don't.
I said that's African
All right?
American.
No, I don't.
I'm done with you. I'm not talking anymore. I'm not talking.
But no,
anymore.
that is important.
I'm not talking anymore. Go ahead.
Having,
I like you. Go ahead.
I mean, having girls that, having a woman that looks like me that's black. I mean, we need to see that. We do.
I'm sorry.
And the top 5 this year, may I add, was the majority of us were women of color. So that was nice.
How did you feel about the
Diversity.
swimsuit competition being canceled this year?
I was upset about it at first because I work out and I have a good body, so I like my body. So I was upset about it at first because I knew I would do well. At Miss America, I won the swimsuit preliminary competition at Miss New York, and so at first I was like, that's kind of sad, like whatever. But I will say, during the week of competition, it's a long 2 weeks that you're there. You can't see your family really. You can't see your friends. You're kind of just in the hotel rooms and you're preparing for competition. And it can be mentally draining sometimes. You have to stay mentally strong. And sometimes it's nice to not have to worry about like eating salad the whole week that you're there.
Right.
You want to be able to enjoy the experience. And when you are able to order room service and have all of these things catered and whatnot, it's nice to just be able to eat real food while you're there. Because everyone, and I can only speak for me, but I'm not naturally thin unless I'm actually watching what I eat.
Right.
I mean, at least if I want to look the way I want to look. So it was nice not to have to do that and not to have to worry about that. And it was also a really great feeling to know that I wasn't being judged on how I look in a 2-piece swimsuit and high heels, but what I'm saying and the content that I'm delivering.
Right, because there's really no purpose in wearing a swimsuit.
For a
Like, what
scholarship.
kind of, like, other than just purely physical purposes.
Exactly. Like, I will say, I do believe that Miss America, if you're representing this country and you're a role model, you should be living a healthy lifestyle and working out and going to the gym and drinking your kale smoothies. But at the same time, you don't have to show everything to the world to get a scholarship. That's the ultimate goal of being Miss America, is to win money to help with your student debt or your schooling. And so to do that and not have to wear a swimsuit, I really think it's incredible.
Did you feel like it was objectification before, like with the swimsuit competition?
I personally don't. I never felt like I was being just, a piece of meat on stage. I really do think fitness is what it was actually called lifestyle and fitness competition. It wasn't called swimsuit competition. And there are girls that aren't a size 0 that have won swimsuit at their local level, state level. But I personally didn't feel that way, but I can see why other companies may feel that way. Even Sway told me when I went to his show that to him, he didn't like to see that.
Really?
He didn't like women in swimsuits. And a lot of fathers, my father said when the news came out, he said, in a sigh of relief with the fathers across America, because you don't want your daughter to have to put on a swimsuit to win a scholarship.
Right.
Would you like to see a woman that looks like Envy in a swimsuit?
I mean, if you
Would you
work,
prefer a woman that looks like Envy or a woman that looks like Charlamagne? Take off your hat, Charlamagne. Take off your hat.
no, neither. No. I mean, if you got it, flaunt it. Just be confident in your own skin, I guess.
Now, you're also raising awareness for cancer research, too. Why is that important to you? I know you just talked about your father, but let's discuss that as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually the National Goodwill Ambassador for Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. That is what you inherit when you become Miss America. And I'm really excited to take on that role because it is so personal to me. I was actually the stem cell donor for my father when he was kind of out of there was nothing left to do. His radiation wasn't working, the chemotherapy wasn't working, and he had relapsed twice. And at that point, the doctors thought the only option was to do a stem cell transplant. And so we did that 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago. And so I want families to feel like they're not alone in what they're going through, because it can feel lonely when you have a loved one that's really ill. And I know I was 19 at the time when the stem cell transplant happened, and I really felt like alone in it sometimes because you feel like it's your fault if something doesn't happen right with the transplant and everything. And I really want to connect with children and their families. And I'm actually also hoping to do a benefit concert and get some people together to help raise money for the hospitals as well.
You're an art advocate too, right?
I am.
So,
yes.
and in what ways are the arts undermined to you nowadays?
In what ways are they undermined?
Yes.
Well, funding gets cut all the time. And I've actually, being from North Carolina, I was actually an artist corps member when I was in grad school. And the kids were getting the short ends of the stick a lot of the times in schools. I mean, they didn't even know what a piano was when I would go in and teach them music. And so that really breaks my heart, knowing what the arts did for me and what they do for kids that have the money and the parents that have money for private violin lessons. But then you have a little boy that's just as smart and just as capable, but his parents don't have that income. That's the kids that I'm looking out for this year during my year.
What part of North Carolina are you from?
Winston-Salem,
Oh,
Trefo.
So you used to eat cookout growing up.
Definitely. And I will eat some the next time I get there.
You went
Gotta
to a
get my hands
predominantly
on
white school growing up, right?
Mhm.
Now, how was that? How did that affect you with everything that you were doing?
So on the first day of school, my third grade year, so excited to go to school, walk into class, and a little boy, Caucasian, walks up to me and says, "You need to take your N-word back to Africa."
Oh, grunge my gears.
Yeah, and I had never heard that word before because I was only in
You
third
ever heard
grade.
what,
Africa?
word?
I was in third grade.
That's the
So,
first day of school, you said?
First day
that
of school,
happened?
third grade. And it was my first day at a new school because my school was going under construction or something. So, I'm
You
super
know he heard
excited.
that
New
at home
school.
from his parents.
Exactly.
I mean, it is North Carolina. Come on.
It is, yeah.
I mean, come on.
But I wasn't
Third grade,
ready.
can you
I wasn't
imagine?
ready.
Right.
Yeah, and so that kind of has always stuck with me. But I think what's important is not doing what people tell you to do. I didn't go back to Africa. I'm here. Like, I'm living in the United States. And you just have to let people that have that mindset, like, you can't let it get to you. But that's just one story of other things.
Yeah, that's my
growing
big.
up.
That's what gives me anxiety because my daughter is one of those young black girls who is like the only minority in her school. You know, so I always worry about those random acts of racism that could possibly happen.
I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's nothing
You
you
can't-
can
there's
do.
nothing
It's
you can
happened to
do.
mine. It's nothing you could do about it.
No.
But I'm just asking, because my daughter is 17, and I'm just curious to, how it affect her later on. Is it good because it's a better school system? Is it a better school, or is it bad because she misses out on a lot of things that I did growing up? So
Yeah.
it's
That's
that
tough.
back
So when
and
did you
forth.
find out nigga was bad?
When did I find out it was bad?
Yeah.
In that moment.
Okay, did you say you didn't know what the word was?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I had that conversation with my parents. And
What did your dad do when you came home and said, "Dad, this kid told me take my nigga ass back to home"?
Or did you
back
say
to
what's a
Africa."
nigga? Dad, what's a nigga?
No, I didn't ask, but it was something that we had to go through our school with, and it was a whole thing, and with my teacher, because it just wasn't acceptable.
Absolutely.
And I remember years later, that young man, when I was in maybe middle school or something, actually apologized for that.
Really?
Wow. 'Cause
So
Yeah, now you have this national platform to say his name.
At what age?
yeah,
At what age
I'm not
did
gonna
you-
say his name.
At what age did you learn the term cracker ass cracker? Or maybe white devil? Or mayonnaise?
I mean,
Listening
I
to
don't
the
really,
Breakfast Club.
I don't really know. I mean, that's not something
He said, "I really don't know
that
those
was like
words."
used that much around me. I mean,
Yeah.
in going to a minority school, you don't hear that much on the other side of it. The reverse racism, I guess it's called.
I know your daddy said it. When you told your daddy that a little boy called you N-word, I know he said, "Who is this cracker?" Who's daddy on
I
the
don't
phone?
remember. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I know he was upset.
Gotcha.
Did you form some really great friendships with the women that were in the competition with you? Because it is still a competition,
Mm-hmm.
and I can just imagine the type of things that went on behind the scenes. So how are your relationships now?
But let's be real. Because of that stereotype, everybody knows not to act that way. Like, let's be nice to everybody, and so on and so forth. But actually, I did gain some really good friends out of the competition. And I remember being scared that after I won, that everybody was going to alienate me. And even though the girls that I thought were my friends were going to never talk to me, but it's really not been that way. I was in California. I was in LA 2 weeks ago, and I actually met up with Miss California, and we went to a museum together and had coffee and stuff. So she's been super cool. And then a lot of the young women are going to be back in New York celebrating my homecoming in November. So everybody's been really nice.
Did
That's all you
social
can-
media play a part for you in this latest competition? I just think about how Miss America used to be when before social media existed and people weren't talking about people on those platforms. How has that been for you?
Social media is a great tool to use when you're trying to promote yourself. So there's 7 judges that evaluate you throughout the week. And then on finals night, when you have the celebrity judges, Randy Jackson was a judge, Layla Ali. But prior to that, you have the 7 judges. And so you want to make your Instagram and everything look as good as possible because they're looking. They're going to go look and see, what is she doing? Like, who is Miss New York? Who is Miss California? And so you definitely want to put your best foot forward.
Did anybody say racist things to you
No.
on social media platforms?
Not that I've seen.
Okay.
Not that I've seen. So, I mean, I try not to read all of it because there's always going to be trolls. But yeah, I haven't seen anything like saying Miss America's black, like we don't like that. You know what I mean? So that's super. I'm grateful for that.
Do you have to give off a persona of perfection to be Miss America?
That's I think what has been. That's the way it's been in the past. But I think what I'm trying to do is create, and other Miss Americas have done this too, in recent history, trying to create more of a real. I'm a real person, and people don't need to see me always in like a gown and heels. I can be dressed in maybe sweats one day or jeans. Like I'm a real person.
Are you allowed to curse?
No, I
She might
wouldn't.
not curse anyway.
I'm a role model. So
Do you curse when the camera's on her?
if I'm listening to a Drake song, maybe. I mean,
Oh, okay.
What
Did you
It's
bring any
poppin'.
music with you today?
any like tracks with me?
You make music. I mean, songs.
I mean, I can play
You're an
something off my
artist.
phone, but
You ain't
yeah.
bring nothing for us to play for the world to hear? Not yet?
I mean, yeah, we can.
I like that.
Is
You
that
wanna
why
hear
you was
something?
talking to Teddy Riley? You trying to get a beat?
she better.
I mean, if he wants to do one for me, yeah,
You familiar with Teddy Riley?
absolutely.
He was so
The
surprised. He was like, she don't know who
the
Teddy Riley is.
father of New Jack Swing
Hey.
was in my yes. He wrote "Remember the Time," like
That's right.
legend,
See, she
classic.
knows more than
Now you
A lot of
mentioned
people
you
do.
mentioned role model. What do you think? What is a role model to you? Because there's so many different people celebrities that kids look up to. Whether it's Rihanna, whether it's Kim Kardashian, whether it's Beyonce,
Yeah.
and sometimes that line is kind of a funny line. What's a role model to you?
To me, it's being a woman that you want other girls that look up to you to be like. I mean, everyone is different. Every little girl is different. But I know growing up, I looked for women that were involved in their communities, that loved music or the arts. That's always been what I looked up to. And women who were women of faith, that's important to me. So just really, like, I want to be someone that little girls can look up to. And if there are little girls in my life, I want to be able to say that I'm actually communicating with them on some type of a regular basis so that they don't feel alienated like I did, like making sure that I stay in contact with them and in communication with them. So when they ever have a problem, they can reach out to me.
Absolutely.
Now, what about plastic surgery? Are there rules regarding plastic surgery when it comes to Miss America?
We heard you got your ankles done.
I didn't get my ankles done, but I don't know that there are rules for plastic surgery, not to my knowledge. And I also, if you have it, I mean, who's gonna know? So.
You see those old pictures and be like,
Oh, true. But yeah, I don't think you get disqualified if you've had plastic
I remember in
surgery.
the past there were rules like you're not allowed to be married.
That is still correct.
Mhm.
That is still correct. You have to be a single woman, never married, not even divorced.
Why
Like,
is that?
I'm not sure. I'm not really not sure.
I think they said you can be divorced, but you just can't be married. No.
Oh, I don't think you can even be divorced.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think the age.
Really?
Mhm.
See, I don't like that. I don't like that picture of perfection. Like everybody, see, some people have divorces. What does the divorce have to do with anything?
Well, we can. I mean, that's also part of the old administration. We have a new administration now, so that could change in the future.
What if you're pregnant or have kids? Does
You
that matter?
You cannot have been pregnant before.
So no kids?
What?
No kids.
That's unrealistic.
That's crazy.
That's
I mean-
unrealistic. Because people aren't perfect.
Right.
Like,
That's
you can't
true.
And by the way, just because you have a baby doesn't make you any less
No.
perfect.
I'm sure
they'll change that.
Like,
I'm
I
sure
think
they'll
I
change
think that's
that.
something that can be
Absolutely.
changed. Yeah. But I will say, if you are a mom, Miss America is a grueling job. So you're on the road traveling every 48 hours. I'm sometimes in a new city. So you have to think about if somebody has kids, like how's that going to work?
that's true.
Yeah.
Judge Faith is a big supporter of you too, right?
Yeah, I actually got to meet her during Miss America
I seen the
week.
picture she snapped.
She
of
was
it.
so sweet. Yeah.
She's cool.
What advice did she give you?
She just told me to be myself, to listen to my parents. They were there. So
And stay away
Yeah, I
from
didn't get-
boys.
she didn't tell me that.
Oh.
Are you gonna write?
Is that your fault? Your
Yeah,
your
that's
advice?
advice. Just stay away
Oh,
from
okay.
boys.
Okay.
You should write a song for the pageant now. Since you won
That-
and you're a songwriter, you could do something.
That's
poppin'
actually in the works.
and update. Oh, it is.
That's in the
A
works.
nice updated song.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Because
how
the old one is
Old.
old. It's a classic,
Here
but
she
yeah.
comes.
How does it feel when you rep Miss America in other countries because of our present administration, like who we got in the White House, and how they're not representing us in the best light? So how do they look at you,
Yeah,
Says she's from Germany.
I'm Miss Germany. No,
Miss Wakanda?
yes, Miss Wakanda. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing some stuff with USO this year, and I just have to make sure I'm being a good representative for myself. I can't speak for the actions of all those around me and even what's going on in our country, some things that I may not agree with. So I just have to be true to myself and state my opinions in, a positive light and a respectful light, to be respectful to people. But yeah, that's all I can do.
If you get invited to the White House, are you going?
They would have, I don't, no, I would not want to go.
There you go. Keep it 100.
I was going to say they would have to drag me.
She said I would not want to go, but they might.
She was looking for a politically correct
I'm
answer.
sorry.
They might
And
force
then
her
she
to
said
go.
no.
Yeah. They would have to drag me.
Part of you.
Tell them, no, you don't believe your beliefs don't align with the beliefs of the White House. You don't have to be there.
Yeah.
And say you might be afraid somebody there might sexually assault you. I'm serious. Why not?
I mean, this is true.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I have to look out for my safety.
How hard
Yes.
is it to date now that you're traveling all the time?
How hard is it to
Yeah.
date?
Oh, do you have a boyfriend?
Yeah, there's someone special in my life, and they're supportive of what's going on right now. It's kind of hectic, but yeah. So it's going to be challenging, I'm sure. But
Are your DMs lit?
I don't really look at my DMs that much
Let me
because
look at them for you.
You want to see?
Yeah.
You want to
My
go?
goodness.
Let's see who in there.
Filter
Let's see
through
what
this.
ball player,
mean-
what rapper,
No.
what
I
celebrity.
respond to some people and I'd say some good fun things.
Really? Let me see.
She's like, hold on,
Is
let
the
me
guy-
I don't know.
check.
I have 2 accounts, though, so I don't know which
I'm
one.
kidding. I'm not
two
gonna go
accounts.
through
I don't
your
know which one to
DMs.
go
You-
with.
I don't even know which
Is
one.
the guy that's in your life, is he secure? He's not an insecure man?
No, he's
Because
secure.
it's hard to be, he's dating Miss America. A lot of
You have
insecurity.
to be secure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Where do you know him from?
We met in college through a mutual friend. We went to different schools, though.
Are you from North Carolina?
Mhm.
Oh.
Well, he's technically from New York. He grew up in New York until middle school, and then he moved to North Carolina.
Oh, so
Gotcha.
you are a New Yorker, okay.
He is. That
He
was
is.
what I mean.
She's
Yeah.
just dating one.
Are you telling him to keep quiet?
Keep quiet.
Yeah. Is he allowed to tell people he's
No,
dating?
he was blowing up his Instagram after I won with
Really?
pictures of me.
Wouldn't you?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I had to tell him to calm down.
No, he had to
Actually,
chill out.
I was like,
chill
okay.
out. You're dating a star. Chill out.
Yeah.
How do you love living in Brooklyn?
I love it. So I've been all over New York because rent is crazy. So I was subletting a lot. But right now I'm in Clinton Hill. So
Oh,
it's
that's a
nice.
nice area.
It's nice. It's the G train sucks.
Yeah, it does.
So but
That's
Uber's
a great
cool.
place to live. Great
Yeah.
restaurants, great.
Yeah, Walters is good. Kenya Moore's restaurant is over there. It's called Southern Comfort.
Oh, her.
Yeah. Her husband.
Yeah, that's his restaurant. Yes.
I haven't tried it yet though.
Oh, girl, I'm
Too
gonna give
busy.
you all the Brooklyn spots.
Oh, tell
We're
me.
gonna have a good
Isn't there a
time.
juice shop that y'all go to in Brooklyn?
Yes, Juices for Life. Envy and I are
Okay.
part owners in that, along with
Oh.
Styles P.
So Malcolm X
I need to
Boulevard.
go there.
Yeah,
Yes.
since you're living that healthy lifestyle, all fresh fruits and vegetables.
Exactly.
Until you see a cookout.
Yeah, I'm going. That's the first stop on my list. And Chick-fil-A. I mean, because in the city,
Chick-fil-A.
it's difficult to get to Chick-fil-A.
I'm about
Can
to
I
go
tell
there
you
right
guys
now
a story?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
The other day, I was getting my hair done, and it took a long time, longer than I thought, because you know how it can be sometimes.
Yes.
Maybe getting your
We
hair done.
know.
Why you say maybe?
Because I don't know if she gets her hair done all the time, or
Oh.
like if she's going to a salon or whatever. But
You say my hair's not done because I have a bun?
No, I just thought you like, well, maybe.
I'm just not assuming that she goes to the hair
We
salon all
got
the
you,
time.
we got you, we got you.
Okay, so I get out of the hair salon, you guys, at 11:30 p.m.
Wow.
What time did you get there?
You don't want to know.
What was going on?
10:30.
Where'd you go?
I'm not.
You need to go to
It
Dominican.
was
Dominican
good
put that
though.
in the doobie and
It was
blow
because
that out
I was
immediately.
late. There were some things that happened,
okay.
but it took longer than I
Because they were
expected.
probably doing multiple people at a time.
They're a
They could-
sponsor, so I'm not trying to.
Oh, okay,
come-
got you.
All right,
Okay,
let's keep
but-
it moving.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A after, right? Look on Google Maps, and it says Chick-fil-A closes at 12 a.m. I get to Chick-fil-A and at 11:30, like 11:45, and it's closed.
What?
And when I tell you, I started crying,
Was it Sunday? You
bawling my
cried.
eyes out. I was so sad.
day
That
was
shit-
Was it Sunday?
it was Saturday,
Oh.
Oh.
You
I'm
were
like-
in the hair salon all day looking for it. The only thing you had to look forward to was Chick-fil-A.
and they were closed.
And they were closed.
Did you ever get
Broke
your Chick-fil-A
down.
this week?
No, I still haven't gotten any, so I need to make my way over there.
All
Well,
right.
Nia, we appreciate you joining us. I'm about to go to Chick-fil-A now. I got a meeting right next door to Chick-fil-A, and that's what I'm
Get some
stopping
for me.
I am so distraught you didn't get Chick-fil-A.
My
She
heart.
cried.
I can't
I
believe you
literally,
cried.
I caught my boyfriend bawling.
Did you file a
And
complaint?
he didn't get you
or-
Chick-fil-A? He supposed to
He was in Brooklyn. He lives in Brooklyn
Oh.
too.
They got-
Did you go on Yelp and leave a bad review? Like it says that
I
y'all
wanted to,
closed at
and
12?
I actually texted all my Miss America sisters, and I was like, y'all won't believe the day I've had, and they were like, Nia, we're gonna call the corporate office for you, so they're super supportive.
Oh my
They
God.
listen to it.
What?
They're like, we're gonna call the corporate office and complain. Yeah,
Well, Chick-fil-A,
they're
if you're
supportive.
listening, Nia's Need some free
Please.
Chick-fil-A for
Send
life.
me some. I deserve.
Oh my God. Well, Miss America 2019, Nia Franklin, we appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you.
And if we'd have known, we'd have had you some Chick-fil-A here for you.
We would have hooked
Good
it
looking
up.
out
All
next
right.
time.
Well, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.